Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and you guessed it, we're back yet again with another episode of Ranking of Kings. This time, we are on episode 12, actually. We're quickly flying through it. Now, this episode was kind of a slower one. And by kind of a slower one, I mean it was a really slower one. We actually spent the whole first half of the episode kind of just catching Bochi up to speed and kind of catching us up to speed in a way too, you know? I don't want to say it was like a recap episode, but for a majority of it, it kind of was. So that's how our beginning happened. Our whole beginning of the episode was the captain of the underground actually just catching Bochi up to speed about what's happening in the kingdom, giving us some details about the people that attacked the kingdom, all these criminals. And we we actually had a very funny scene with Despa and his horse White King. A beautiful, beautiful horse that is like 700 pounds now. Quite a funny scene. It might be the thumbnail. We'll see. It might be the thumbnail because I did get a kick out of it. But yeah, let's get into these criminals. Now, we learned from the previous episode that Lady Maranjo is the one that freed them. But we still kind of don't know why she did. Actually, yes, we do. We do kind of know why. So let's kind of get into that. Because as she's freeing them and they're escaping, they actually turn on her and take out her guards that she's been with the whole time. And we get a good understanding of what kind of people are. They're strike first, ask questions later kind of group. Which makes a lot of sense if you think about it. They are criminals after all. They've been imprisoned for a long time. They want to let loose. So that's exactly what they do. But then the leader of the bandits, I'm pretty sure, who was with them, comes to his senses and realizes, maybe we should not mess with the person who's freeing us and could trap us in this room. So they eventually decide to put their arms down and they head into the throne room where we see that Boss is for some reason going along with this. Now, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure the reason. To me, it does not make sense that someone like Boss would willingly go along with this because they're kicking him across the room. They have him tied up and everything. And to me, that just seems suspicious. So I feel like he's definitely up to something. The question is, what's his goal? What is he trying to do? But they banish him to the dungeon for now. So that's where Boss is. He's in the dungeon. And they start squabbling with each other. Because you see, one of the people that was freed, one of the prisoners, was actually a former king who had been disgraced. And he starts going on a tangent, saying, this is my kingdom now, making the throne how he wants it to, all that. And he actually gets approached by Ouken, of all people, who were led to believe is no big deal, not a threat. He walks up to him and then immediately walks away, and it looks like he's cowering in fear as he's doing it, which makes us think, okay, maybe this guy isn't that big a deal. So Lady Maranjo actually senses people coming to the gate, so she says, follow me to the front of the castle. I implore you all to come with me. So they do. But the former king, Ouken, and then the bandit thief actually stick around. And the bandit thief actually notices something. The second they leave, Ouken's personality kind of completely changes in a way. And he just charges straight towards the disgraced king. And he takes him out brutally, guys. I mean brutally. Like, he cuts his wrists. He cuts the tendons in both of his wrists. He cuts his Achilles heel in both of his legs to where he can't use his hands anymore and he can't use his legs. And then he proceeds to stab him multiple times in the back. And he uses some strange magic to do so that apparently binded him in place. Which, if you think about it, that's really broken. That is a really broken ability in this series. Just to be able to basically paralyze someone. And after he stabbed him multiple times, this guy's bleeding out, actually begging for death. But Ouken, he's relishing it. He's enjoying it. He's savoring his death. Literally, he won't let him die so easily. He's literally crouching over him, just in euphoria, just savoring his death. So we can tell right away, he's a very twisted individual. Which leads me to believe he's absolutely hiding something. Something tells me he's going to be the big threat moving forward in the series. Something gives me that impression. Because there's a reason that they've been talking about him in the previous episodes. There's got to be a reason to why. And judging from his abilities, he's clearly a threat, but he hides it. He gives off the airs of being someone who's weak and feeble, which, if you think about it, it's even more scary. But yeah, you can tell that Ouken is going to be a threat right away. But anyway, they head to the gate, and they actually meet with Queen Hilling's forces that are infiltrating the castle. Because you see, everything's starting to come to a head now. Everyone is converging on the kingdom, and a big fight is about to ensue. Queen Hilling, Dorsch, and all their men are confronted by all these escaped criminals with Queen. I keep saying Queen. Not yet. With Lady Miranjo leading them. And she basically reveals her plans that she wants to bring ruin to the to the kingdom. Which makes sense, honestly. In the previous episode, we kind of got a glimpse of her backstory in a way. And it makes perfect sense that she would want to destroy the kingdom. But something tells me that's not it. Something tells me that's not the only thing that's going on. Because you see, I could understand her wanting to bring ruin to the kingdom that apparently made her feel the way she did, that treated her like that. But there's got to be something more. Like, how does Boss factor into this is what I'm wondering. Because like I said earlier in this review, like, he went down way too quickly. Far too quickly. He didn't even put up a fight. So something is clearly up. And the way she's acting is strange. But we see that Hokuro and Domas are starting to move with their plan too to destroy the underground. The underworld gateway that Lady Miranjo used to get all these criminals here. That is their goal. They're going to the underground to destroy it. Queen Hilling and Dorsch are being confronted by the criminals themselves. And then we see Bepin. We see Bepin at the end of our episode, who knows what he's doing just yet. He actually finds the body of the disgraced king out there, and he tells his snakes to bury it. But in that moment, we see his hand twitch. So he might not be dead yet, actually. So I'm very curious to see what happens. He was basically betrayed by these criminals, so I wonder what his stance is going to be moving forward. Because we saw a little bit of his backstory, too. Of how his father once told him to find a compassionate heart and be a good king. But we see he had tragedy. We see that everyone he loved was brutally murdered. It looked like his wife, too. His wife and child. So I'm very curious to know what's going to happen with him. And with what Bepin's doing. Like, clearly he'll help the kingdom, but why is he hanging around out there? You know? It really makes me wonder what's going on. But Bocchi and Kage are still approaching the kingdom with the knight captain of the underworld. I assume they'll be there soon. But I feel like things are about to come to a head in our next episode, and I'm very curious to see where. Mostly, I want to know what I want to know what Miranjo's goal is. Like I said, she said it was ruin, but there has to be more than that. And what about Daida and this Miranjo that's inside of the king's heart? They're trapped inside of there, and we have a little girl version of Miranjo. Like, what is all that about, you know? Is that like her weak self that she locked away? Or is that the king? Is that how the king boss remembers her, and her memory is who Daida's interacting with? I don't know. It's very interesting, but this was kind of a slower episode, honestly, guys. We spent a lot of the time in the first half doing recap for Bocchi and Kage. We did get that very funny scene with Despa, though, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you thought of this episode. To be honest, there really wasn't that much to talk about. I honestly considered skipping over this episode and then, well, not skipping over, but watching it and then like not doing a review on this one and just like throwing the little tidbits of this one into the next episode. But no, I think there was at least enough to talk about, especially with Ouken. What a mysterious person Ouken is. Like, what is his real end goal? Because something tells me he's really one of the strongest people here. So what is his goal? Why does he act the way he does? You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Don't look ahead. Don't cheat. I'll know. I will know. Yeah, guys. I think that'll be it for today's episode. We had kind of a slower episode today, but I think that's good, you know? I think it's good to get a breather because, like I said, everything is coming to a point in the next episode. This is like the calm before the storm, I view it. So I'm very, very curious to see where we go from here. I will mention the new opening and ending songs are great. This, like I said, this show's animation lends to these openings so well. Like the second opening, I honestly like the first one more. I gotta say, I think I do like the first one more, but it's a banger, of course. The visuals are stunning. Like, regardless of what people say about this series, like, the visuals are actually stunning. That they can take a kind of, I'd argue, a bland style like this and really bring out the charm and vibrance of it. I really love that. I do actually think that the art style really is a compliment to this series. I can't imagine a series like this with, like, newer school animation, you know? Because that's where all the charm of this series comes from. And I love it. I hope we get a season 2. I'm not even done with this season, and I already want a season 2 of this show. It's just quality. If there's a series that I've reviewed on this channel, I do recommend you watch this one. As much as I like My Dress Up Darling, that's a series I know is not for everyone. Just from a glance at it, I could tell before I even did reviews on it that it's not a series for everyone. But I would highly recommend this series. I feel like this is a very good starting anime for people. So if you got, I know some people that look at these videos for me, I appreciate it, aren't really super into anime. And I think this is a great series to get you started on it. So, hey, maybe you guys check it out too. But yeah, guys, I think that'll be it for this review. You know, we had a pretty good episode. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. And yeah, and until next time, guys, I hope you all have a great day, week, month, and year. Deuces, and have a blessed day.